Another question that will keep coming up and probably be a big issue tomorrow in the Comey hearing are reports that have since circulated around via the Washington Post and others that the former FBI director was concerned about being left alone with the president. Circa national security correspondent Sara Carter on that. Sara, no doubt he will be questioned on that, but if true, it raises concerns that he had concerns. The White House has had no response to this, but what do you make of it?
Well, I think one of the issues here is these reports. A lot of them come from anonymous sources, people that heard conversations or may have been connected to somebody who was part of the conversation, but they are anonymous sources, and they're directing the actual attention away from what, everybody is concerned about, which is the Russia investigation. But if you think about it this way, Director Comey, if he would have felt pressured by the Trump administration to back off from Lieutenant General Mike Flynn, who was then the national security advisor to the president, he should have reported that earlier. I think that people are anticipating that he's going to talk a little bit about his relationship with the president, maybe some concerns about how he was fired, which, according to the sources that I've spoken with, within law enforcement, he felt jilted. He felt that he had the rug pulled out from under him, so he was very angry about that. But as far as the
jilted by whom? It would be the Justice Department, right? That he didn't.
Yeah, he was jilted
didn't get a heads up. Okay.
That's right. So he didn't have a heads up. He was already, moving forward. He was in L.A. when he saw it, so he was very angry about that.
Well, that I can see being ticked off about that. It wasn't handled very well. But let me ask you about this other thing where it would be uncomfortable being alone with the president. If it's true, in fact, that in the end he was alone with the president in this private lunch, dinner, whatever it was, he obviously got over that. And, so I'd like your thoughts on that. I'd also like your thoughts on how or whether it's unusual for an FBI director to be meeting with a president with something out there going on or not.
Yeah, it's back and forth with the people that I've been talking with. In some cases, some of the sources say it is unusual. In other cases, in the majority of cases, they say it's not so unusual. The FBI director reports to the president, but he is also separate of that, non-political. And that's what FBI officials tell me all the time. Their first day in Quantico, they are told they are neither Republican nor Democrat. They're agents. They are there to do a job, and they are there to follow those rules. So, I know there's this tension between both of them, and we all know that. It's very public. But if he felt pressured, he would have reported it. Director Comey would have done that. He's smart enough to know that.
Would we know, or maybe we'll find out tomorrow, or maybe not, would he have written a memo, or there'd be some correspondence with someone at Justice, hey, I feel uncomfortable about this, because that raises the next issue here as to whether this ends up being a he said thing. Comey convinced that the president was trying to tell him to give up the fight when it came to going after Flynn. The president claiming that's not the case. You'd need proof for tapes, and presumably there aren't tapes unless there could be. But where does this go?
So they would be looking for memos, any kind of evidence that maybe former, FBI Director Comey would have written about this.
Well, let's say he did. Let's say he wrote exactly that, Sarah. I'm sorry to jump on it, but just to be clear, the president said he doesn't recollect any such thing. Comey insists just the opposite via memo that is taken at face value to be as good as the original point of view. But you can't prove either.
That's right. That's right. And that would be a concern, Neil. That would be a concern. But it would also fall on Director Comey then. With the senators questioning him, they would say, well, why didn't you report this? If you felt this was inappropriate, why didn't you report it? And I think we have to wait and see the facts and weigh those facts out and look at that. I know that in early February, I was talking to law enforcement officials about Mike Flynn, and even then, they said we couldn't find any collusion between Mike Flynn and Russia. But whether there's other issues at play here, other issues that they're looking at with regard to the former national security advisor, that remains to be seen, because it's still an ongoing investigation and things can change.
Well put. Thank you so very much. I have a feeling we're going to need your expertise throughout this, so thank you very, very much.